Hi guys, it's Granny. How is everybody doing today? So I wanted to just take a minute and talk about the mass shootings lately. And don't get me wrong, I am not advocating, I want to just say this right away. Don't get me wrong, I am not advocating for the government to take away our guns, okay? But honestly, I think we can all agree something has got to give here. There are too many precious people going through this, right? Too many victims. And it's getting to where you don't feel safe anywhere anymore. Think back to that concert in Vegas. Who would ever think? A 16-year-old birthday party recently? I mean, come on. What is it going to take? What's going to happen? Is there too much media on it? I don't know. I've always felt that the public has a right to know. The public needs to know, right? I mean, I've always felt that more knowledge helps. So I'm not going to be one to say that there's too much media. But there has got to be a reason. Something's got to give. And I don't know what it is. Did you guys know that there have been more mass shootings than there are days in 2023? There have been 163 mass shootings so far this year. The United States has faced at least 163 mass shootings so far this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive. There have been more mass shootings than days in 2023. Now, mass shootings are defined as an incident in which 4 or more victims are shot or killed, according to the archive. That's 4 or more. That's what's considered a mass shooting. There have been more than 30 mass shootings in the United States in the first 17 days of April alone. Though they don't make up the majority of gun violence incidents in America, their impact on communities and victims is evident, right? We see them all the time. Incidents like the mass shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, Buffalo, New York, Uvalde, Texas, they continue to send communities, cities into mourning and have sparked repeated calls for gun reform. The Gun Violence Archive tracked more than 647 mass shootings in 2022 and 690 in 2021. And I'm reading from an article in the ABC News. But some of the shootings that we have seen in 2023, we had Dadeville, Alabama. 4 people were killed and 28 others injured when a mass shooting broke out at a crowded Sweet 16 birthday party in rural Dadeville, Alabama on Saturday night. And the shooter is still at large. The Dadeville Police Department has solid leads as they search for the suspected shooter, but authorities still need help from the public. They're asking anyone with photos or videos from Saturday night's Sweet 16 party to come forward. The 4 people that were declared dead. And you guys, please keep these people in your prayers. It does not matter, what religion you are, right? If you're someone who prays and believes in the Lord, please keep these people in prayer. If you're not, just send good thoughts their way, okay? 23-year-old Corbin DeMontre Holston, 19-year-old Marcia Emmanuel Collins, 18-year-old Philstavius Dowdle, and 17-year-old Shankivia Nicole Smith. Now, I'm really sorry if I have butchered those names. I'm really sorry to the family and friends, but I want family and friends of these people to know that my heart goes out to them. Thoughts and prayers are with you guys. Next one, Louisville, Kentucky. It's kind of close to my heart because my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, was born and raised in Louisville. I lived 2 hours away from Louisville when I lived in Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. Louisville, 4 people are dead and 8 others, including 2 police officers, have been injured following a mass shooting at a bank in Louisville, Kentucky. Nashville, Tennessee, another one that's very close to my heart. If I had a city that I would say is my favorite city in the places that I've lived, it would be Nashville. I love Nashville. I love the weather. I love the people. Nashville is an awesome city. 3 children and 3 staff members were shot and killed at a private school in Nashville, Tennessee on March 27th, according to an official at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. The shooting unfolded Monday morning at the Covenant School, a Christian school for students in preschool through 6th grade. The suspect, who was identified as a 28-year-old, was shot and unalived by law enforcement officers in a lobby area on the 2nd floor of the school, police said at a news conference. At least 12 shootings, one of which can be defined as a mass shooting, have occurred on K through 12 school campuses so far this year, leaving at least 10 dead and a dozen injured, according to the GVA and local reports. Michigan State University. 3 people are dead and 5 others are injured after a shooting at a multiple locations on Michigan State University's East Lansing campus on the night of February 13th, according to local police. The suspect has died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, officials said. Police initially received 911 calls of shots fired at 8:18 p.m. in Berkey Hall and located several victims there when responding. Chris Rosman, interim deputy chief of MSU Police and Public Safety, stated this. Police then received a report of another shooting and responded to the MSU Union building where they found other victims. Police are still working to determine the suspect's possible motive. Oakland, California. At least 1 person is dead and 7 more were injured in a shooting in Oakland, California on the night of January 23rd. Officers have not yet disclosed a possible motivation for the shooting. It's the 3rd mass shooting in California in just 3 days, guys. Half Moon Bay, California, at least 7 people were killed and 7 more were left seriously injured in a shooting at 2 locations in Half Moon Bay, California. The suspect has been identified as 67-year-old Chun-Li Zhao. The incident remains under investigation and a motive was unknown. At this time, we are aware of 8 victims. 1 was deceased and the remaining victims were listed in stable condition. Monterey Park, California. At least 11 people were killed and 10 others injured after a gunman opened fire at a dance studio near a Lunar Year celebration in Monterey Park, California on January 21st. Suspect Hukan Tran, 72, was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound inside a white cargo van in Torrance that law enforcement officers had surrounded and forced their way into about 30 miles from where the massacre occurred. A motive for the Monterey Park shooting is not clear. Domestic violence is one of the scenarios that they are looking into. Still, the mass shooting has compounded ongoing fears from Asian Americans following a rise of anti-Asian racism and violence. Enoch City, Utah, a family of 8 people, including 5 children, were found dead with apparent gunshot wounds in a Utah home on January 4th after police conducted a welfare check. According to city manager Rob Dodson, a welfare check was called into the police department that evening. Dodson indicated that people are unaware of a motive. He also said law enforcement from Enoch City, Iron County, Cedar City are cooperating in the investigation. We all know this family. Many of us have served with them in church and community and gone to school with these individuals. And so the community at this time is hurting. They're feeling lost. They're feeling pain. They have a lot of questions, which is natural. Huntsville, Alabama. 11 people were shot in a deadly altercation that left 2 unalived and 3 in critical condition. The Madison County Sheriff's Office says investigators arrested 3 16-year-olds in addition to the 2 adults who had been charged in connection with the shooting. Now, you guys, that's just, to me, that's amazing. And those are just some. That isn't all the 146 that I was talking about. How many, first of all, there were a lot of people who were unalived, right? And so there's families related to that. And then there were others who were injured. And probably various injuries and people affected by that. What's the answer? Tell me what your thoughts are. And I know some of you are going to say gun control. I've heard AR-47 rifles need to be banned. That's a thought. I've never been one for taking guns out of the hands of people. I really feel like, and it's okay if you disagree with me, okay? It's fine if you disagree with me for that. But I think that we are a country who was born on the fact that we had freedom. We had, freedom to choose how we wanted to live, and of course we don't want to live like this, right? But the more that we see those freedoms taken away from us because of one side or another, where does it end, right? And so that's what bothers me about things. Now, I live in northern Wisconsin, and we have a lot of hunters here. We really do. As I'm sure there are a lot of other places that do as well, but come Thanksgiving season, the week before Thanksgiving, oh my goodness. We have got people in orange and coming into our convenience stores, and it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. You don't want to go in the woods during that time without orange on. And you want to be careful when you're driving because a deer could run right out in front of you because they're being chased by somebody, right? So you want to really be careful. But It's a big hunting area. And they, and some of them use this venison for feeding their families for the year. It's a very big area we have a lot of butchers who will cut the deer up for people. Back when I was younger and my kids were smaller, my husband used to get several deer, and we cut up the deer and packaged it. And honestly, my girls, I had 2 girls, and by the time we got done cutting and packaging this deer, we didn't want to see venison anymore at all. And if my girls were here, they would tell you the same thing. They probably have not eaten venison since they were little. I don't know, but I discovered ways of cooking it to make it so that you couldn't taste the wildness and that it would be tender. And but finally, it started playing havoc with my stomach. So I had a legitimate reason for staying away from it. But honestly, you guys, as far as I know I digressed, but as far as taking away people's rights to bear arms, to have guns for their hunting, to have conceal and carry permit. I thought about it when I had moved to the bigger city. I had even purchased a handgun. And then I was going to take classes and have a conceal and carry permit. Because when you're moving to a bigger city, you never know, And it's sad that we have come to that place in America where we feel like we're not safe anymore, right? And that is exactly why I purchased that gun. I since gave that gun away because I fell off a ladder and ended up getting a steel plate put in my wrist here, and I will never have, I would never be able to handle the recoil of a handgun, ever. I don't think I could ever handle the recoil of even a shotgun. So I ended up giving that gun away. So I'm just saying I wasn't, exempt from purchasing a gun to be safe. But here's my question. Do we need AR-47 style guns? Those are assault rifles, correct? I don't think. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. I don't have a problem with that. I want to have good, solid conversation on our channel. We can agree to disagree if all else fails, but I like other people's perspectives, and I really hope that you guys will choose to just be honest with me and fair in kindness, though, okay? Let's be respectful to each other. But if you don't agree with that, let me know. Tell me. I'd really like to know because, in my opinion, every time that we've, seen I shouldn't say every time, but when we've seen mass shootings, many, many times, they are assault rifles that they've got. And, I mean, some would say probably that, well, then they'll use rifle or they'll use whatever. And you're probably right. I mean, you are right. But it'll take them a little longer, won't it? Versus a semi-automatic assault rifle. Am I mistaken? So, I think that the biggest thing with these mass shootings, I think our country needs to pray that they stop. I think parents need to recognize when their children are struggling mentally and get them help. I think in the workplace, if we see something off about another individual, I think something needs to be said. Maybe not to that individual, but something, it needs to be brought to somebody's attention. We need to start recognizing people that may have issues. And almost every time we have gotten information, well, let's just take the Brian Koberger case, for instance, right? What did we hear afterwards? What have we heard afterwards? He was bullied. He was aggressive. He was kind of a loner. So there are always signs, right? There are always signs. So I think we need to, instead of being so quick to maybe conceal and carry, we need to be watching the signs around us. Look at our surroundings. Look at the people who we see on an everyday basis. I work in financial institution. I'm not going to mention where I work, okay? But just recently in our hometown, one of our customers was on trial for unaliving his mother. I interacted with that person. And that's a scary thought. So we never know where we're going to see something. We never know what we're going to hear, who we may be close to, where we may be going. We need to keep our eyes open no matter what, to keep ourselves safe and to keep our families safe. And we need to pray for this. And we need to lift up those victims. Of the 146 mass shootings so far in 2023, how many victims does that represent? I don't know. I don't think I want to know. It's a serious, serious concern. Let me know what you think. And please, while you're down there in the comments, like and subscribe for me. I really appreciate it. In May, we're going to have members only chat. And I think on the members only chat, it'll be live and we'll just talk about whatever you guys want. Okay? So keep that in mind, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much.